Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm going to talk calmly about several things. I have been not only hurting like a mammer jammer. I got some antibiotics. I've been taking them. The bladder hurts. My sciatic nerve's acting up. The sciatic nerve, good grease and gravy. That goes all the way up your. My mama knows that, but it goes all the way up your back and down the hip. It debilitates you. You just, you're in excruciating pain. And you can't. I've been exercising, moving around. I've been drinking a lot of water. But when you try to lift your right leg, or any leg really, but either leg, you try to lift it, it goes excruciating. Oh my goodness, this traffic. But anyway. You try to lift your leg and it hurts so badly. You lay down and you're excruciating pain. And then I've been hurting all the way into the abdomen, the gut. I've been hurting into the back and the hip, and it just debilitates you. I can't do anything, and I've been hurting into the prostate area, into the lower abdomen, all that stuff. So I've been taking the antibiotics. I'm going to see what they do. A couple of antibiotics. I'm going to see what happens. And I hope they help. If they don't, I'll have to see if I can get a different type. But for the kidney infection part. But anyway, there's been a lot going on. You all know that my father, the company that bought him out, PTG, they bought the company he worked for and let the guy that was running part of the show before run it. Well, now they said they basically brought him home last week just to put the stickers on the truck, and he had to stay home the latter half of last week and during the weekend. Well, he was home, but they didn't tell him anything. Except suddenly we needed to go back to his place of work 3 times last week. So I did. I went in there. I filed so much paperwork. I couldn't repeat all of what we had to do for the trucking job now. It is ridiculous. So I filed for Paycom. I filed for driver pulse. I filled out all the driver pulse information. There were about 30 documents, and I had him sign it digitally, send it in. Sign it digitally, send it in. And I had him officialize all the documentation. The guys at there said, "Oh, it's all good, you're good to go," and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and they had to redo the entire thing. Then I had to go out to his place of work, talk to the boss. He worked it with me because he's on the road. He can't do all this stuff. I'm just going to be honest. He wouldn't have been able to do it anyway without me. Glad I could be there. I'm glad I could. So I've done calling. I have called. I have filed, and I have emailed, and I have texted, and I've done everything. I think I've been online and on the phone for the past 2 weeks nonstop. It feels like. And then we finally, they told us, well, you need more documentation. You're going to have to get your taxes done now. So we did that. Then we had to get the tax form, the I-9 form, the 10W2 form, all this information to them. They had to file it, put it in, give it to the new company. Then they told us, well, he needs a birth certificate and a Social Security card. Well, he lost his card. So we went out to the place, and they said, we need a hard copy of your license. And I'm like, you can't send a hard copy of your license off, but thank goodness we had a copy of it. So we did. We had a copy of his hard copy of his license because he had lost it once before. I gave that to them in an envelope and a form that he filled out, printed by his boss, and they're sending it in 7 to 10 days. He should have another Social Security card for us to laminate, but that was just the part of it. We went back out there, back home, gave the boss the Social Security, not just the social information, but we gave him the what was it he needed? Birth certificate. That would work. Well, the other guy said, well, we did the runaround, we did the workaround, right? It didn't work. Next thing I know, they tell him you're good to go. I did probably 30 pages on each thing, documenting the information, filing it in, helping my father file it. Suddenly, they just put him in the truck Sunday night without giving any information, no updates, and they put him in there. Didn't tell him they changed the truck number. Didn't give him the truck number. Did not give him the information he needed. Didn't tell him how to log into the computer. They didn't give him a computer. They gave him a Samsung tablet with the Omnitrax off-brand app on it. And they said, "Don't worry, you're good to go. You're fine." They put him in there, and he had to get going on his own. And he had to. I was looking through the information I had to file, but let's see here. This is some stuff I've still got to get covered. I got to do that tonight. I've got to sign, fill out, and get all this going. There are 8 different employee assistance program files that you have to fill out. I have to download the PDF and then digitally file it and then do the e-signature and all that. But I told him if he didn't get that done, he wouldn't get paid. And they said, "Don't worry, you're going to get paid." So they don't really know what to believe. But this company really could have gone about it a lot more professionally, and they did not. And we are not liking the way they've done at all. But what happened was I got all that done, and every day last week we were doing filing, calling, and emailing, texting. Then the boss out there emailed me, or the co-boss now, he emailed me. He runs the whole show around here. He's going to be the new head of this department of PTG. So he emailed me and texted me, and I went over there to him and talked and said, "Why isn't it going through? It didn't want to go through." And he said, "That's weird." So he did the other email of my father's, then tried it with mine. It finally worked. Then they tried to do the workaround for the Social Security, but Social Security Administration never answered. They locked him out, and it was like blah, 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 blah. So I got all that done finally. So he should get that in 7 to 10 days. But the company just put him in that truck and didn't teach him how to use the computer, and GPS wouldn't work. It would not tell him where he was at. It would not tell the computer system where he was at, so he couldn't file, he couldn't log his location, so he couldn't get the computer running for Omnitrax to track him and to put in the load information, because what it told him was that it said California. He's in Tennessee and it said California, but it would not put what they said. They said go to Santa Monica, California. I was like, what? It's not on there. There is no California. So it then waited till he got in another state and then started working. And this computer's so sensitive, they said there are no front-facing cameras on you. Well, the tablet has a camera on it, and it's so sensitive when you get out of the sleeper berth, it automatically puts you on duty. It senses your heat, it senses your movement, and that truck puts you on duty, which is crazy. That Omnitrax system puts you on duty in the cloud. And then they kept losing GPS connection. So basically, and then he called up a friend of his, and he said that if he wants to switch to this other job where he's working, he can. He's already got it lined up to help him, thank goodness, if he needs to. I hope, I hope he can work with this job, but it's complicated. It's crazy. I understand he got so upset out there on the road, because he's out there by himself. No one can help him. He's having to do paper logs right now because that computer's not working properly, and they didn't teach him to use it. They put him out there, and then they just and I had to do the updates on the tablet. I had to do the software update. I had to do the, logging him in. It should have already had him logged in already, but they had that information placed separately in a box. And you didn't know what was what. I didn't even know what was what in that box. And they did not tell him squat. And they just put him out on the road without even being prepared for it. They had no orientation to help them out. Nothing. So, yeah. But I had to file with. Then I had to file all these, any dependents, and there were, goodness gracious, a bunch of documents under dependents and beneficiaries, and I had to file all that under medical, under dental, vision. I had to file all those things. You have to do it yourself now. His previous employers that ran the show, they did it for him. I didn't. He's never had to do all this. Well, I did. I mean, I did it this time. And we were talking on the phone with a guy from Ohio who was the head of this department, the medical department. And he said, I'll help you this time, but pretty much said he wouldn't be able to help us next time. You have to file for the insurance yourself next year. Here's the reason why he had to help. Because the app wasn't working. It didn't have the medical information, didn't have the medical process in there. He said, I see that. But is there a way I could connect to your laptop or computer? I said, well, my laptop is down. I don't even have the desktop computer really running right now. So, and he said, that's okay. Just give me the login information. So he went around and then created, just erased his account, and I had to recreate an account, but keeping the previous information so all that documentation would not be destroyed. So that I wouldn't, all that the documents that I had provided would not have been deleted. I took pictures of several documents, downloaded them as a PDF, and edited the file, and emailed it to the company, and uploaded the documents on the Driver Pulse app and the Paycom app that were needed. This elderly lady was looking at me like, that's just insane. The biometric stuff, the detailed information that I had to provide. And she said, that's insane, because I was doing all that information. It is pretty crazy now. Getting a job is a completely different process than it used to be. But for trucking, anyway. All right, I filed out the vision, then the life, a supplemental life, and employee AD&D, and then I filed all this stuff right here. And I filed every bit of that. And then, because, it's, you don't want to be out on the road without insurance. He wants to be insured. And he also wanted to make sure that the truck had the information it needed, the insured information. They said, oh yeah, you're good even if it wasn't filed for like 25 days, I think. And I had that long to file it. But the guy helped me through it and did the runaround with the codes and changed the information. He gave me a temporary username and a temp password. And then I had to create a new password, and I've got to create a new username under the account and edit the information and finish doing that. Then I've got 7 more documents to e-sign for him. They already know, and the guy at the workplace knows that I do all the work, so he's good with that. He said I do all the filing, so he's good with that. So I had all the all the Social Security stuff. Mama had the birth certificate, I had the tax information ready, I had all that stuff ready. I emailed, I texted, I called, I uploaded, I was doing the secretarial work. Oh, sorry. I did not mean to do that. Dang it. I had a bad pain in my back. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. My lower back, I'm hoping these antibiotics help it, but I don't think they're going to help that sciatic nerve and prostate pain and the lower back and all that, and going into my hip and leg. It burns. Boy, it burns into the abdominal area and all around. But I'm holding on, I've been helping my parents. I've been helping them file and document and do what they can, what I can. But we called and talked for 2 hours today to the guy head of the insurance department. Then now they want us to file. Now they want me to finish. So I finished Paycom because I had to sign him up to that before he can ever even get paid. Then Driver Pulse. So then the company says they allow a certain amount, very minimal. I mean, it's much lower. I wish I missed the other Benny card they gave to help out with a certain amount. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to help with any type of leftover medical bills, or that's what they did before. You had a little debit card they give you, a Benny card, prepaid Visa, where you'd swipe it or give the number to the doctor's office to help pay off at the end of the year the bills that you had, or I think the previous one used to be like 1,500, and they've now dwindled that way down. And I think it's like just a very minimal amount that you can use and per year now. And it's it's very low. But in the way it is, with this one, we used to use that to pay off the doctor bills and pay for his expensive Jardiance, because that Jardiance is like $500, but they bring it down to 300 something. I know this is unimportant, and some people are going to say, well, why don't you just do so and so and help out this? You know what? If you can say what you want, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know my struggles, my pains, what I've been going through. You don't know what we're going through. And if you have something to say, move along, go to someone else. I love you all. You are, I mean, it's just, I give the utmost love to all of you, because it is just, and my heart goes out to everyone going through these terrible situations in war and violence. It's uncalled for. It is uncalled for. And this crazy scripted show that we see taking place and within the elites, it's awful that these leaders and powerful individuals make war out there in the name of and harm the people in the meantime, in the name of something they want to get done, or more power. They just want power, and they have an agenda. These world's elites have an orchestrated agenda, and they play this stuff out, and the people are caught in the crosshairs, and it's awful. It's sad. So my love and prayers go out to everyone in every nation dealing with struggle. But with that being said, yeah, I had to do all that filing for driver pulse and Paycom and the medical insurance. I had to fill out the medical. You have to do that yourself now. The bosses won't do that. They don't. They don't now. It's different. It's a different world. Then they want you to file with UMB Mobile, which is a mobile bank. There is no physical bank. Most banks are going that way. And they said that Visa that they're going to send you, that money's deposited into that account and sent to you, loaded onto that card. And it is through a UMB mobile banking app. And the way they do that is they want you to create an account. Now, I don't have, you can now use biometrics, but since he's not here to do that, I'll be the one managing all this, so I don't want to use my thumb, so I'm just going to say new user and stuff, and it'll open up a Google link, and you create an account type, and that's the way they do their savings accounts. And you have to call this other woman and email her to set that up. After you've set this account up, after I set this up, I'll have to call her and email her and get that straightened out of how much, let them know we've made the account, we've got this done. And then that's where they're going to put their savings, if you decide to do that, and how much they want to do. We also had to fill out another form to put so much aside for the taxes next year, because in all that type of stuff, they wanted you to do that. That's recommended you do that way. It's a different process, and they also wanted you to use this mobile banking app for the what they call like the a medical card, where they only allow a minimal amount. It's like, it used to be 1,500, now it's well below 1,000. I think it might be like, you might be able to pay for example, you might be able to pay for his medicines once with it. And if you wanted to use it for his medicines, you might be able to, that's how little they give you. You might be able to pay for his medicines once, and that's that. So, it's not as good as the previous, but that's what I've had to do. I've had to do all this filing. I've had to do a lot of this different stuff. So it's a big process, It's a large process that is not what it used to be. As far as this stuff is definitely not the same as it used to be. So I've been filing for several weeks, and we were on the phone for several hours today. Finally got part of the finalized information ready. Still have 7 more documents to e-sign and confirm for him. And then after that, I've got to do the mobile banking for for that, not from our bank account. That won't work. They had to set up a direct deposit separately from Paycom to our bank and all that stuff. It was like an hour-long process. The boss had trouble with it, so, with setting up the actual initial Paycom, so he had to have. That's what took so long with that. But I got it going. I got it going for him, and I'm glad I was able to be there to do all that work through the internet, because otherwise it wouldn't have been able to be done. I will say that, and I thank God I was able to be here to do that. And another big thing is I've got to get the last filing done. Then we've got to try to sign up for that information with that particular banking service that they go through, and to get that little amount they give for the medical payments done. So deductibles are so high anymore, it's insane. But that's the bad part. Deductibles are way up there. I met this woman who was saying that her insurance told her her company said, we're gonna drop you, and the insurance told her, well, one more visit to the emergency room, and you're gonna have to pay all of it back. I'm like, what? She said they told her if she falls again, goes to the emergency room, she's gonna have to pay that back. All 3 visits she's had this year from injuries, she's gonna have to pay back if she goes one more time to the emergency room this year. I was like, well, that is pathetic. She said, yeah, you're allowed 3 visits a year, and otherwise you got to pay all your medical bills back. And she said, my insurance never told me that. That was a different woman. That was some woman I met, and an older woman I met at this store. And I was thinking, that is just awful. She said, anyway, honey, she said, I feel for you. But I got some antibiotics, so that's great news that I'm going to hopefully see if they help. And if not, I'm going to see if I can get a different one. I'll let you know the updates and what happens, because all of that stuff going on and all this going on top of it is it's stressful. It is a change, and I don't like the unprofessionalism of the way they went about it. And then I pretty much had to do everything myself anyway, and then you have to learn from scratch on that stuff. So one guy did help us through, but I mean, it's been a process. It is a process, and I'm glad I was able to help my parents. I'm glad we were able to help my father, and yeah, I really am, because it's been a process. All right, pray for the new job. Pray for well, it's the same job, new company bought it out, but pray for that. Pray for us. Pray for my pains, and I love you all so much. You are a God-given blessing, and I appreciate every one of you. Please, thoughts with those in the conflict right now going on worldwide. Conflicts, prayers, love, and action is needed. I'll tell you, action is truly needed. Prayers are always great. Love is great, but action is needed more than anything in these times of trouble and struggle. I mean, just stand up to the bullies, the hate, the violence, just the wrongdoing, and a blatant disregard for human rights, human life, and human existence. It's just, and what you see going on in this world, it just shouldn't stand. And yes, definitely need more prayers and love for everyone worldwide, but action is needed to combat these conflicts. It's just wrong. All right, anyway, much love, everyone. I know it's all part of the times, but we really need to take care of each other while we're here. And want to thank everyone. Thank you, by the way, to that donation. You don't realize how much that helped, because it helped at a big time of need. I messaged you for that, and you know who you are, and I appreciate it. God bless, much love, and I will talk soon. Got to do some stretches and exercises again that I can slowly and try to help my body. Stay strong, everyone. We're going to get through this. Much love.